Okay, no problem. Continue with part 2. Cooking more than needed. So we actually discussed it before, right? A. Extra portions. When cooking on Yom Tov meal, it is not necessary to calculate the exact number of portions needed. One may prepare large enough amount of food to ensure that there will be sufficient food for people to eat as much as they wish. Okay, so one more time, and we're going to explain. When cooking for a Yom Tov meal, it's not necessary to calculate the exact number of portions needed. So, okay, maybe people want to eat like extra on Yom Tov, right? So, okay, there is no problem. So maybe during the week they eat different dishes on Yom Tov, only this dish, whatever is it. So you're not obligated to count, right? So one may prepare a large enough amount of food to ensure that there will be sufficient food for people to eat as much as they wish, and plus maybe guests are going to come. Maybe people would want to take extra, right? So it would be very embarrassing to tell them that we don't have. Like a few times it happened to us. Like when we used to have guests, a few times we invited young people, young fellas, right? And the guy, like I don't know, like where he grew up, no manners. So he came up, and brought with him like five other guys. Of course, we did not expect so many people. I mean, it was food, like, but nothing for the next day. Basically, they young fellow, they ate everything. Baruch Hashem. So you understand. So if you suspect that something like this could happen, so of course you should cook much more. Okay. B. Cooking more than will be used. Okay. As in chapter 4, that when one performs permissible Melachah on Yom Tov, one is permitted to increase the amount of the product beyond what is needed on Yom Tov. Thus, when one cooks on Yom Tov for Yom Tov meals, one may cook more than he needs for that day, even though the extra amount is being cooked for the next day, right? So we said let's read this condition because it's very, very delicate condition. So we said if it was his intention, this would be forbidden. Right? So let's see the condition again. It said chapter 4 that when one performs permissible Melachah on Yom Tov, one is permitted to increase the amount of the product, right? So we said increase meaning don't count in the case that I mentioned. Like, of course, I mean 5 people. It's like 5. No, he brought four his hungry friends basically. So we invited this guy, and it happened a few times to us, right? And he brought his friends without telling us basically. So one is permitted to increase the amount of the product beyond that he needs on Yom Tov. Okay, no problem. Thus, when one cooks on Yom Tov for the Yom Tov meals, so always keep in mind. So it's only for today, nothing is for tomorrow. One may cook more than needed for the day, even though the extra amount cooked for the next day. So if you don't have an intention to cook for the next day, there is no problem. So you can use this whatever leftover, leftover is good word. So leftover for the next day. However, 3 conditions must be met in order for this to be permitted. Number 1, the entire mouse must be cooked in one time. So meaning, as we explained, what is not in not one time. When you do like individual pieces, so individual pieces that's about, like, for example, you frying the fish, right? So it's only a certain amount of pieces on one frying pan, so you have to like take off and fry other pieces. So that's too much work. So now like it would take you much longer time. But if you're making a soup, for example, and doesn't matter, you put so much water, it takes I don't know, a few more seconds to pour more water. And you put all the ingredients there, so and it cooks like you don't do too much extra efforts. Basically, that's the idea. and everything done in one time. So you don't do anything extra. At one time, I mean, in one cooking, is it like bigger pot is going to cook much longer? I don't like even if it's going to cook much longer, longer. I don't want much, but longer. It's not like you're doing something extra. It does it on its own. So that's number one. Number two, no extra effort may be involved in cooking the extra amount. That's what we just said. Okay. And number three, one may not mention that one is doing more than is needed for Yom Tov. Okay, so we said it's very thin line. So yeah, I'm cooking. Period. That doesn't matter. I'm cooking. Yeah, I'm cooking. So if a person had in mind that I should cook enough for today and for tomorrow, that's a problem. We will. Here we go. We will elaborate now on these conditions. Number one, the entire amount must be cooked at one time. Okay. As we learn in chapter 4, increasing the amount is permitted only when one performs a single act of Melachah to both the excess amount and needed amount. So meaning that you don't do anything extra, or maybe it's not too much extra, I would say. In this manner, since one is allowed to do the act for the sake of preparing a small amount, there is nothing wrong with doing it to the large amount. Okay. For example, one cooking pot of meat to be eaten on the day of Yom Tov, one may put as much meat as he wishes, but only before he puts the pot on the fire. So meaning you prepare as much as you want, and then you don't add. When person starts adding, it's like it's already looks like it for the next day. He's worried that it's not going to be enough. Okay, so prepare the whole pot of meat, whatever you do, and put it on the fire. No problem. Thus, when Melachah performs, when he actually performs the Melachah of cooking by placing until before it is on a fire, it's not cooking. It's very interesting. So we said that it's a part of preparation. So what is the definition of cooking? As we said, applying source of heat, any source of heat, to food to improve the taste, right? So it's very interesting. So before you put it on a pot, on a source of heat, this pot, so it's not considered to be cooking, right? So it is forbidden to cook for the next day. So when you prepare the stuff in the pot, it's not cooking. Thus, when he actually performs the Melachah of cooking by placing the pot on the fire, he performs just a single act of Melachah. So, and if need to be stirred, so that doesn't matter. You would need to stir anyway. Okay. Single act of Melachah to both needed and extra food. Okay. The fact that he put extra pieces beforehand does not constitute a separate act of Melachah, right? So, because again, Melachah is put on the fire, since the pot was not yet on the fire at that time. However, one is not permitted to the extra meat, for example, meat not needed for that day, to the pot that is already on the fire. So now you're doing something extra, because adding meat at that point is considered a separate act. So you're adding separate pieces of meat to that pot that is on the fire. Okay, 1 second. A separate act of cooking. Okay. It is therefore equivalent to cooking on Yom Tov for the next day, which is forbidden. So cooking and cooking again. So halachically. For this reason, there is forbidden to fry unnecessary portion of food, such as blintzes, on Yom Tov. Okay, so like blintzes, fish, whatever, like individual pieces, because it's not one act. So you have to fry, then you have to turn over, then you have to wait, and then this and that. So for sure, this individual piece is a separate story. When frying, each piece must be turned over separately, exactly, and doing so is considered separate act of Melachah cooking. So meaning you apply this uncooked side, like you apply heat to this uncooked side. right? And doing considered separate act of Melachah, cooking, for each piece. Because one lifts the piece momentarily and then returns to the frying pan. That's unbelievable insight. So you like, in order to turn over, you have to like lift it even for 1 second, whatever, like and put it back. It's very interesting, right? So it's like a separate act. A similar one would not be permitted to peel extra vegetables that are not needed that day, since the peeling extra vegetable requires separate Melachah activity. There's Melachah of Borer, which is for each extra item. So this maybe our example with the soup. I mean, with the soup, it's hard to say like how much you need it. So if it's definitely for sure you cannot eat it this day, so it would be forbidden. But otherwise, it's like maybe if people would eat a double portion, maybe it's going to work. So, but with meat, I think it's the best example, right? So meaning for sure there's no preparation efforts. Right, so you put some whatever spices, you put some water, and you put salt, all of these spices on top, and that's it. You cover the lid and it start cooking. With the vegetable extra, like if it's much extra vegetable that it for sure for the next day, of course they say it is forbidden, not because of the cooking, but because of the different Melachah borer. Borer meaning sorting. Right, so we're allowed to separate bad from good or good from bad on Yom Tov, but only for the needs of the Yom Tov, as we said before. Right, if it's is done for like on a large scale, so absolutely it's forbidden. Okay, so gotta be very, very careful.